We wanted to make sure that as we built this organization, that we built it in a way that continued providing real value to agents.
We wanted to create a network of like-minded individuals that had a mission of purpose that wanted to help.
The military division is a great way for individuals working in real estate to be a part of something bigger than themselves.
Hi, my name is Leo, Real's AI-powered concierge and now podcast MC. Welcome to the Real Podcast, Perspectives Unlocked. Today, we're diving into an incredible conversation with the leaders of Real Military. If you're a military service member or spouse, veteran, or real estate agent looking to serve the military community at the highest level, this episode is for you. Roland Vandenberg, Kyle Petitt, and Danny Cuevas are here to share real strategies, real impact, and real results. They'll break down what the military division is, how to leverage VA benefits, and the power of social media to grow a real estate business. So, grab a seat, tune in, and let's unlock a whole new perspective. Let's go.
Hey guys, my name is Danny. I am with the Real Military Division. We have two other people here on the podcast today. I have Roland Vandenberg and Kyle Petitt, all part of the military division here. And we're going to be kicking it off today. So we're going to be talking about what the military division is all about, what assets that we have within the military division. And then we're talking about our business and how we utilize social media, what's effective, what's not effective for us. So yeah, let's go into it. Guys, what is the military division?
Yes.
The greatest group of men and women to work in real estate on the face of the earth.
Yeah, I think the point of the Real Military Division, I think where it kind of stemmed from was, number one, a huge portion of business. Let's be honest. Like, how many times have you heard people saying, like, I live in Colorado Springs, we have 5 military bases here, and I hear this from lenders, realtors, people, all types of business owners. To be honest, I want to tap into the military network. I really want, and what they're really saying is, there's a lot of money to be made working with the military because there's a lot of people that PCS in and out, right? And unfortunately, I think everybody can tell a story or knows of experiences where a service member has kind of maybe been taken advantage of. Maybe they've been sold a Camaro with a 35% interest rate or something crazy like that, just because like you've got a new paycheck and you're not used to having this much money. And so, or a home. Yeah. And so the Real Military Division was created for a couple of reasons. Number one is because we want clients to understand that when you work with an agent that's in the Real Military Division, they are a skilled agent. You are working with somebody who is constantly training, constantly growing, constantly developing, that has good tech. And so you are working with somebody who truly not only has your experience, but has your best interests in mind. I think that is like number one, is just allowing clients to understand who that they're working with. And then from an agent perspective, it's fostering a community of not only like-minded individuals, but being able to surround yourself with other people that work with military often, but also have like that similar background so that we can continue the community, so that we can continue that camaraderie that we, maybe that we once had in the military or whatever, but also so that we can elevate the quality of agent that is interfacing with the client. That's my perspective on it.
One thing I want to tap in really quick is my experience was actually the opposite of that. So whereas you're saying that like, hey, everyone wants to tap into the military, network and service more veterans. I came from LA. So a lot of the people there, when I was with a specific different brokerage, I was talking to the office manager and he was like, we were trying to figure out like, what can I do with my branding? Like, how can I talk to more people who are like me? So I came up with the bright idea. Let me talk to veterans because that's who I am. And flat out says, great guy, by the way, just says, there's no money in that. You need to pick something else. And like something kind of clicked in my head and it told me that I'm not in the right place. And that's where I think that, over the years.
Recruiter man called him.
Yeah, recruiter man called me. Roland was my recruiter in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
He called me up and then he recruited me. So he got me twice. We'll see if he gets me for a third time. I don't know what it would be, but we'll figure it out. But yeah, like over time, I think what we always yearn for is community. because being in the military, it's a natural community. Like you're almost like a forced community, but either way, you make it for what it is.
Yeah. Another big thing is like not only community, the camaraderie, because that's one of the things that, yeah, we always miss after service. In addition to that, there's also that sense of purpose. Most military members, and this comes from like a lot of experience working with on the nonprofit side of things, helping veterans that transition out of the military when they really have those dark, troubling, challenging times. It comes from their loss of the sense of purpose. They feel like when that uniform comes off, they feel like the best part of their life is behind them. So this is a great way. The military division is a great way for individuals working in real estate to be a part of something bigger than themselves. This goes beyond the individual professional. This is like helping the men and women who served our nation, own a piece of the land that they once took an oath to defend. And Kyle, we go way beyond just real estate. We'll help veterans with all aspects of their life. And we just did that, Danny. We finished one of our like beer and benefits seminars where we were literally teaching veterans anything and everything to help them become successful. So
you're totally right. I mean, how many times have you had conversations with somebody, not about real estate, but just like, bro, have you done your VA disability claim? And they're like, nah. And you're like, come on, what are we doing here?
I don't want to take from anybody else. I feel
God.
like I'm taking from my buddy who actually got hurt, or definitely, it's not the case.
And it's like that. It's like the GI Bill. It's it used to be called Voc Rehab. I mean, there's so many benefits and opportunities. And so I think that's something that you guys have really focused on, because you guys, I'm actually curious, not to hijack your hosting, Danny, but I'm curious because you guys run this like Romeo Echo thing, right? And that, I think, for you guys was a predecessor even before Real Military. So like, what's that, and what's that been like, the integration there?
Yeah, that's a great question. So Romeo Echo, it originally started from the exact example that you brought up, like myself and then one of my other business partners, Adam. We had very similar experiences when using the VA loan. It was someone that was literally just looking at getting leads from the military, and we used a program, and this, the service could have been so much better. And that's how it originally started with that. Like, let's create a company. That was where the vision came. Like, it'd be awesome one day if we can create a company where we master VA, where we can help veterans better than anyone else out there. And then through it evolving, Romeo Echo, it launched in 2018, and it eventually evolved into something completely different than just military, and so much bigger than just military veteran housing and real estate. It turned into just being a complete resource to help veterans transition out of the military. We help them get military disability benefits, VA disability benefits. We did nonprofit work where, me and Danny would jump out of a perfectly good airplane to ironically prevent veteran suicide. But so much, it just came to something so much bigger than just real estate. So that's how it, kind of how it started.
Yeah, because I think
that's how we transitioned into real, because it became a situation where we wanted to be part of something massive, and we had more discussions with Sharon and more of the leadership, and it became a situation where like, okay, that is aligned with exactly what we wanted to do. We wanted to create a network of like-minded individuals that had a mission of purpose, that wanted to help, and we wanted to grow as well. I think one of the things that we just got off the call today, the masterclass that we had today, and that's one of the advantages that we have within the military division that I think is pretty unique, because it's an organized masterclass. Basically, we're learning based off of successful agents, and we're also collaborating, we're networking with individuals. So, and it's a referral network as well. So, I mean, I've sent over a couple of referrals over to Reagan, And it's just, I wouldn't have had that if I didn't have that connection. I would have had to go through those Facebook groups like, hey, who does VA? And then I have to go based off of their promises. Like, yeah, sure, I do VA. And I'm not really sure. I'm not 100%.
Yeah, real quick. I mean, that's how I ultimately got into the business. So I went through SkillBridge with another company a few years ago. Had a great experience. It was the only way that I had the guts to get into real estate, truthfully. So if you don't know what SkillBridge is, it's something that we offer now at Real. And it's basically a transition program to go from active duty into fill in the blank business. You basically have the opportunity to do an internship for 3 to 6 months. So I went and did that. And that was how like I got into the business. And one of the things, like I kind of had interest in real estate before, but the other thing was I was like, man, I'm going to learn this VA stuff, because when I bought my first house, I had a great agent. We still keep in touch to this day. She's a great person, but like there was no strategy. Like I didn't learn anything about the VA loan. I just like bought a house. And then 2021 happened and I just refinanced, but there was no strategy. And then I moved and I had all these like grand visions. When I got out of the military, I was like, all right, I'm going to move to Colorado and I'm going to do this, that, and the other. And then I realized as I actually learned about the VA loan, I was like, oh, that's not how that works. I can't do any of those things that I thought that I was going to do. And so like, it kind of like blew up my whole plan. And I was like, you know what? I am going to like really hone in and focus on learning this so that I can teach the homies. That's like, I say it all the time. I'm like, I'm doing this so that I can teach the homies so that they can be further ahead. And I get these kids that are like, that reach out to me because they see my TikTok or they see my Instagram and they're like, I'm going to basic, in 3 months. And I'm like, well, you're not going to be ready to buy a home for a while, but like, here's my little ebook that I wrote. Like, here's some guides, here's some content. Like, just keep watching the stuff and keep learning and you'll be so far ahead. And then that was why I think all three of us ultimately got involved with the Real Military Leadership Division, was because the Real Military Leadership was because we were like, we wanted to make sure that as we built this organization, that we built it in a way that continued providing real value to agents, to provide to clients, and those clients being active duty service members and veterans, that like, it is so easy for them to get, I don't want to say it, but taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Right.
It's so easy. And one thing I wanted to hit on is like, what do you think, like, what are some things that you have gotten through these mastermind calls? I know I've gotten a lot of major tips that have like really changed our business and how we operate. By the way, Roland and I are business partners, so we operate together. One of the major things is from someone who's not even a part of, or who doesn't service, I wouldn't say exclusively military, but his focus isn't military, but his one of his focuses is social media. So we do a lot of social media, and I integrated Raj's Trello system. I integrated it into our business, and that's how we are communicating with clients and how we are dealing with listings and interacting with how we do our business. It's basically another form of our CRM. So Kyle, what is one thing that you've gotten from these master classes that you implemented in your business today?
That's a great question. Because it's also easy to sit in a bunch of master classes and like feel like you're being productive because you're learning, and you kind of get this like dopamine hit from learning, but then you don't do anything. So
you post it on Instagram and it's like, oh yeah, I'm doing something.
I was in a master class, and it's like, yeah, but did you actually do what you learned in the master class? So I love that example that you just said, the Trello system. I need to watch that one, because that at some point becomes like really powerful. It's like you have to have a system to implement the lead generation or whatever. Mine was from the other Roland. I forget his last name.
Osage.
Roland Osage. Thank you. He did this. He's a monster on TikTok land, and actually at Rise, he won an award for like the best listing video of the year. And I didn't even know who this guy was. He's just like this very unassuming. He's just a really mellow, even keeled guy. And he came on and he shared with us his strategy of doing like walkthroughs. And I've always been a huge proponent of this because I work with a lot of brand new agents. And I'm like, you've got to go into the field and make it look like you're doing business. Go put it on your story. And then some people don't know that you're not showing a house. They think that They have no idea. They just see like, dang, Kyle is, when I was new, I did this. Kyle was like, he's always showing houses. He's always talking about houses. Like, and that was how people started to associate me with real estate. Well, he's got this like system. He does these like 8 to 10 minute walkthroughs of these homes. And he's in like the Bay Area. So there's these rad mid-century modern homes. And I was like, well, I'm in Colorado Springs and we don't have that many cool homes, but like, I'm going to do it anyway. The first video that I did, it is still gaining track. Like still, this was like 2 months ago. It's over 1 million views. That was my first video that I did that style. And then I've got another video that's over 3 million views. I've got multiple videos, like, you know, it's like average 20,000 plus. And cause I was like, I said, when he finished that, I was like, I'm going to go do this today. Cause that was like in our social media season of the masterclasses. So we had done like 6 to 9 masterclasses on social media. So I implemented that one and I was like, I'm going to go do this today. So I scheduled a home tour that afternoon, went, walked through, came home, put it all together, posted it. And I was like, let's see how it goes. And by the way, Roland Osage is not even in the military division. We reached outside into real, but because the community's so strong, he was like, hell yeah, I'll come teach a class for you guys. Like, no problem. And we've had that multiple times. Anyway, since doing that, I do those videos regularly, pretty consistently, not as he does them every day. It's crazy. But I do them consistently. And my account went from like 9,000 followers to like 50,000. I've done multiple deals off of it. I've gotten tons of leads off of it. And when it started happening, I had to hit him back and be like, how are you managing this lead flow? Like, how are you managing all these conversations? So that was like a huge one. So I'm just a big proponent of like, that worked for me also because I just chose that I was going to do it. And I was like, I don't care if this first video pops off or if the 20th video pops off. I'm going to implement this into my business because I see the value. And so that's been really awesome for me.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. So, I mean, it's great that like we're part of the leadership team. We're still able to grow and basically expand. And that's part of a call like this and a call like what we have in the masterclass. We have the ability to implement these things into our business. Now, one thing that what Roland mentioned earlier is that we actually did our beer and benefits event. That's an event where we're talking about here are all of your benefits as a veteran. And by the way, we sell houses. And part of that is what we also launched, what you actually worked on, which was the buyer seminar. And we basically catapulted based off of that. Like we're basing it off of also that format that you had. And I think that that's another thing that we can also really talk a little bit more about when it comes to the real military division, because that is a major asset that was created and there's no charge. It's like, you're part of the military division, you got that. And it's something that we implemented. And in that 2-hour time frame, we have 2 new buyers, and then we had 20 plus people attend this event, that not including their families. So we had a pretty full venue, and you know, we have two new clients out of it. Now, the purpose of it was to be of service, and I think that a buyer seminar is going to be focused on exactly that, and it's going to be targeted and everything like that. But I think that the way we manipulated it was basically our beer and benefits event. And I think that was pretty successful because we helped people, plus we got clients.
Well, yeah. And I think, again, it makes you like more well-rounded. And like, what's cool about that is why I love the community is because I would never think of that on my own. And like, yes, you can almost go on YouTube and just like search and you'll see a couple people that pop up, but like, this is like military specific, which is super awesome. I never would have thought of like a beer and benefits event, but now in my head, I'm like, dude, that's actually pretty baller. Did you guys have like, was it just you two hosting it, or was there a lender there? Was there like a VSO or anybody there? What was that like?
Yes.
Yes.
Go ahead, Roland.
We actually, we had a VSO scheduled, but the VSO didn't show.
Bing bong. The VSO did VSO things.
But we've done this so many times that I literally can do the VSO's work Like I can go over the entire presentation that a VSO would give. So it's like, and we had a lender, because how we segmented it was we covered a few different things. We had an intro. We had a lot of like a brief overview on what we're going to be going over like benefits that veterans might have that they don't even know that they have. Like that was our kind of, our value prop was like, come here, learn about your benefits. We're going to teach you about benefits you don't even know that you have. And we're going to go over like VA loan. We're going to show you how to use your VA loan, dispel common myths. We're going to teach you how to get disability benefits, file for appeals, increases. We're going to teach you how to leverage those benefits and use financial tools to build tax-free retirement accounts, like leverage the benefit to create wealth through the benefit and reduce taxes in doing so. So like all of this combined over a cold beer. Yeah. Like, we'll get you
I
on
should
the
have been at this thing.
Yeah.
To learn.
Yeah.
I had nothing to add, but
yeah,
it was
awesome.
a great event. It was really great. And the thing is that like it spawned from an idea, but it's a collection of different ideas that we've gathered, and that's part of it. It's about building a connection. It's actually helping helping build a community. And we actually invited agents to come and attend the event and bring their clients. Like we want to help. And we had an agent actually come by that actually wants to join Real, and he's like, dude, this is crazy. Like the fact that you guys are putting this on, and he didn't have that at his previous brokerage. And it became almost like a point where like, man, how can I speed this process up? How can I make this happen a little bit faster for me? And it's an ongoing conversation, and it's been pretty cool.
That's one of the things that's awesome. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that might see this, and you're probably thinking, man, this does sound awesome. I want to do this. One of the great things about Real that I've really realized is no one's hiding their secrets. The collaboration is next level. So if you're listening this or watching this and you want to figure out how to implement this in your business, reach out to us, shoot us a DM. We'll be more than happy to share it with you. The blueprint, like we'll show you how to put it on, how to run it. Like that's one of the things that the culture, in Real and in the military division, it's next level. Like I've never seen this in the real estate industry where everyone's just willing to help each other. It's pretty cool.
Well, like the main thing that we used for actually getting those people, because we're new to our area, we're like brand new. We've been here for 4 months, so we know 0 people. Straight social media. Everything was done via social media. We did a post on Instagram, Facebook, and I actually skipped out on TikTok. But
you can't sleep on TikTok, dog.
I know. So, but the thing is, I wanted to. It's about testing, right? So we were testing the different avenues, and all in all, we actually had 86 people register for the event. So I have contact information for 80 people plus, based off of an Instagram post.
For like a week, right? You ran it for like a week?
I ran it for a week and a half for $16 a day.
Dang.
And I think that, the cost to acquire a client is, for real estate is pretty high, but these are our people. It was focused on the veteran community. Someone wouldn't sign up unless they, were going to be interested in this type of event. So that worked really, really well for us, actually putting out these ads. And we learned a lot of these ads from Sharon, and how to implement it in actually put out the information. So that was really helpful for us. So let's just move on to our last subject here, is social media and what's working for us. I think that providing value was one of the things that really helped out with that video specifically, because we came out like, hey, the VA is fun, right? Yeah, no, the VA is not fun. So we want to make things easy for you, and just come to our event. We're going to teach you everything, and then you can go to the VA and be very confident with the entire process. So like that hook that we had right away was very was basically modeled off of just everything that we've seen in social media, and a lot of our business has come from just that. So Kyle, what do you think is like how many clients are you really getting off of social media? Like the percentage of clients that you're getting off of social media exclusively?
It's a good question. I would say
you should probably know it, right?
Close to, I mean, I probably should. It's probably about 90% of my clients come from social media. So just for perspective, like I've got the TikTok going, I've got Instagram. Those are like my personal two big ones. I do have a personal YouTube channel, but that's more agent focused, sharing strategy, especially for like new agents. But our team, we have a YouTube channel for the team. It's called Living in Colorado Springs, the original. So that has been like a major source of like super hot leads, and then like for the team in general, and then on a personal side, pretty much everything else comes from that social media stuff. Now, something that I did early, I believe in deliverables. Deliverables are so powerful, and now you see it a lot in Instagram land, where people are using mini chat, and it's like comment VA, comment blueprint, comment whatever, and I'll send you XYZ. And so something that I've been working on for 2025 is building more of those, because when I first got into the business, I was like learning all about the VA loan and getting really, really dialed. And I have a great lender that I've been working with. And so I wrote a book, an ebook, and it almost, if you read it, it sounds like I'm just talking. So it's great because like a lot of my content, people find me on Instagram or TikTok, and then they end up downloading my book, and it's like they're just reading my dictation. And the book is called Your VA Loan Blueprint: Dodge Pitfalls, Create Life-Changing Wealth. And a lot of the book is demystifying and like myth busting, like the preponderance of it. Questions as simple as like, can I use my VA loan more than once? Like most people don't know the answer. How much entitlement do I have? What about second time use or first time use? How much can I use? So like, there's a lot of these things that like, I didn't know. So I wrote that book, and that's like my number one deliverable. It's been downloaded probably 250 times. But I think like, I'm not telling even you, Danny and Roland, or anybody listening, like go write a freaking book, obviously, because I don't want you competing with my book. It's free. So there's no competition, but deliverables of like, if you're going to do multiple videos on assumptions, then create a 1-page PDF guide to assumptions. If you're going to do one that is just about even something not real estate related, but like you guys were talking about, how to apply for a bump in your disability or whatever, comment this and I'll send you my guide. The deliverables is a game changer because you're just giving it away. And people, they start to resonate with that, and they click it, they download it, maybe they read it, maybe they don't, but you start to become this source of somebody that just gives, right? And it's, whether it's Gary Vee that talks about like basically give, maybe ask, or he calls it like the jab, hook. Or that principle of like, when you walk into a store and somebody hands you a water, it's like they're starting by giving, and it makes you just that much more inclined to interact. So that has been really, really huge for me. Especially, which is funny though, because that is like Instagram only. You can't even mini chat on TikTok, although I think that policy is changing. So I give a lot through Instagram, and otherwise I'm just constantly dumping information, trying to figure out how many creative ways I can talk about the same topic, but we all learn it in a little bit different way, right? Because some of us were smart enough to be in the Air Force, and some of us were Marines, and that's just the reality. So I got to dumb it down sometimes.
Thanks, man. You got to make sure that you put that little dig in so that crayon eaters like us can understand.
I got you guys.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thank you. My ASVAB score was good enough. That's
32, baby.
I made it.
0300 infantry.
Yeah. So that's been my, my flow is just like, and creating systems around that. And at first, for the record, like I just did it all on my own. All my social media started as I just want somebody that if they come to my page, they see a guy that they know, like, and trust. Because like, even if I'm not talking about real estate, like I like the way that this guy talks about X, Y, or Z, so that they could just get a feel for me. And then I just started putting out a bunch of content where I was literally just like sitting in front of my phone and talking about assumptions or talking about um, interest rates or just like really, really simple stuff, nothing like cosmic. And then eventually it got to the point where I was like, doing a lot of business. And so I hired a team to help me out. But I will say that like social media is the bomb, but I think you guys might agree, like it requires strategy. You've got to be deliberate. Otherwise, you're just like throwing, noodles at a wall and seeing what sticks. And then something does stick and you have no plan and you don't know how to capitalize on it. So that's really been my focus. And again, why I really like the master classes. That season that we did on social media was so cool because it was just like all these heavy, heavy hitters showing up and just pouring in like monsters on Instagram, monsters on YouTube, monsters on TikTok. And it was like, I have to like implement this stuff. I can't just absorb. So that's what it's been like for me.
Yeah, and I think that's extremely important with anyone that's really listening to this is just implementation, figuring out what works for you and actually following through with it. That's and being consistent. I think the consistency thing is essentially what people really fall off on. I know I do that quite a bit on Instagram specifically because our biggest driver is actually opposite of you, because we actually drive a lot of our business from YouTube. And I think that I identify with that more because I'm a consumer of it. And I think that that switch is whoever you identify with, that's probably the way that you consume content more so. I consume more YouTube content. And, we find the ideal client every single time. Like we just closed on a property, what was it, last week, Roland? And the gentleman reached out to us because I made a specific comment
about a gun safe.
Oh yeah. It was talking about a gun safe in the house. Like, hey, you can put you can put a gun safe right here. And his wife was like, "That's your guy." Like that's
yes,
that dude.
But that's why it's so powerful, man. Because your people find you. Mm-hmm. Like it's not just the cliche that they know, like, and trust you. It's like they feel like, I want to be friends with Danny. I want to be friends with Roland. Like that's the guy. And because have you guys worked with clients before that like just were not your people or you were not theirs? Yeah. Like you kind of like butted heads or clashed a little bit?
Yeah. And that's such a great point because it came from like one of our mentors. It's a gentleman by the name of Andy Frisella, and he broke it down like so simply, and I feel like it's super important in our industry where you see all these like agents, they want to portray this image, like, whether it's luxury, whether they want to, whether it's ego, whatever it is, like, and a lot of times, especially when you work with veterans, that might hurt you because, the number one goal that you want your ideal client, you want them to look at you and be like, man, I need to reach out to Kyle. I need to reach out to Danny or Roland because they're just like me. You want them to feel like you're their people.
Yeah. And the one thing I will have you notice is the fact that we're all wearing t-shirts and they're all green. That's
like, not coordinated.
No, it's not at all. But that's who we are. It's like we come from that military background. Like 2 out of 3 of us have actual facial hair, and like it identifies with everyone that we're really trying to.
Well, they're trying to get their dream outcome, and everybody in the military's dream outcome is long hair and facial hair. That's everyone's dream outcome. And then it also happens to be a house. And so like I can help you. I can take care of the long hair and beard because you're so active duty.
Yeah, I could just see you like at the doorway just swinging your hair,
Oh,
and
dude, I
it's
do it all
like,
the time.
this is what you want.
I owe it to people to keep the hair long and to keep the beard long. Hey, I'm curious, Roland, when you were talking with that guy that nobody knows, Andy Frisell, I don't think anybody's
Mhm.
ever heard of him.
Yeah.
But when you were
Yeah.
talking about, was it kind of a conversation about like, stop trying to be what you think people want you to be and just be you?
Yeah.
Be the avatar that is you, be the avatar that actually also is for your ideal clients, because I very much feel that. Like I am allergic to the idea of being somebody other than myself.
Yeah, I actually have a video, like the first time that we like met him in person. It was actually right after we launched Romeo Echo. And it was we got a lot of feedback. We were new to real estate, and the goal of the mission was always to just, create Romeo Echo to be masters in helping military and vets. And, kind of very similar to Danny's broker that told him there's no money in that. We had very similar like people that would chime off, why are you going to single out all these other people? You should do this because you're leaving money on the table. Like, why not focus on, some of these higher ends? Why not focus on like these people too? So then we started doubting ourselves. And I remember specifically asking Andy that question, like, hey, do you feel like we're limiting our success by just going all in on military and vets? And then he broke down and gave that analogy, very in a way that Andy does. Like, he basically like put us in check, be like, this is the problem. This is most people, they have an idea and it's good, when they narrow down on a niche, but then they start saying, you know what, let's tweak it so then we can get these people. Oh yeah, and then what about those people over there? And then you end up creating something that's for everybody, which in turn is for nobody.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, something that I think is hilarious about, I've talked to some of the other guys in the group about this, but you two specifically, like the way that your guys' content is, it's because it's very different from mine. But you guys to me are kind of like the Black Rifle of real estate. You're the Matt Best of real estate. Like the way that your guys' brains work and like the type of content, the comedy that you guys do. I'm like, I can't do that. It like I can participate in it with you, but like my brain doesn't operate like that because my military experience was a little bit different. Like what I did was different. And but so I always think it's funny. And like you guys find a lot of success in the way that you guys do it. And I found a lot of success in the way that I do it. And I think that's like super telling, right? It's exactly what Andy was saying is like, you guys have figured out. And I think I think at the end of the day, it's when you're looking at it from a perspective of, man, even if I don't do business with these people, am I providing value? And like, that's a legitimate, am I providing service to these people? Because like, do I want to do a deal? Duh. Of course. Like who doesn't? But at the end of the day, like I want to empower people to make decisions based off of good information. And if that means that they're making a decision to not buy a house right now, that's great. But maybe they now start building a strategy for a year from now or 2 years from now, or maybe this PCS isn't the right place for them. And from you guys, especially because you're heavier on this, it's like, maybe it's not even real estate related, but like they're just going to fix their disability or they're going to go back to school or they're just going to take advantage of some of these benefits and stop feeling guilty about it. Right. Like, but there's a way to communicate. And so at the end of the day, I think that's why like social media is so powerful because it connects you with people that hear a message in a way that communicates and speaks like to them. And then at the end of the day, they're like, Danny and Roland, those are my guys, right? That's who I'm going to go to when I do have sometimes even totally unrelated questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As we wrap this up, guys, we want to give everyone some action items, some things to actually do as you take the information that we had in this podcast. One, grow a beard and do it well. That's checklist number one. All right. Always do
Get
that.
some tattoos.
Yeah. Get some tattoos all over your
Yeah.
body. And when it comes down to it, when you're actually going on these masterminds, when you're going into the RMD masterclass, use implementation. It's about using the tools that you have in front of you, actually implement it into your business. And if you can't figure out a way, that's what networking is there for you. and give more than you take. Give without the expectation of taking, and provide deliverables with value. Create that ebook, create that thing to help out your client, and finally finding your avatar and providing value.
Yeah, no, I love that. The longer the runway, the bigger the plane can take off, right? And I would love to say that that's my idea because I was in aviation, but I heard Alex Hormozy say that, and I think about that all the time. It's like, and I think a good litmus test is like, am I on the right track? It's like sometimes I'm giving and giving and giving, like via information, and like my page isn't growing or whatever. But then like one day somebody reaches out. I had a guy reach out, a guy that I served with almost 15 years ago, 12 years ago. And he's like, hey, I don't know if you remember me, but I've been watching your content. We're moving this summer. I want to sell my house. And I was like, holy smokes. Right. And it's just like, and I'm not digging at people. It just, by giving and by doing what you guys are doing, these beer and benefits things, and presenting content and information to help people out. I think at the end of the day, it's beautiful. I would say that my biggest ask for people is to just get involved. If you have military people that you service regularly, get involved in our masterclasses and get involved in some of this like information, like increase your skill set so that you can provide a better service, and you will continue to be able to provide service for a lot of people.
All right. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you. Thank you.
That's a wrap on this episode of Real Podcast, Perspectives Unlocked. If today's conversation sparked even one new idea for you, mission accomplished. But don't stop here. Subscribe, rate, and drop a review so we can keep bringing you the insights that move the needle. Want more? Follow us on Instagram at Rail Brokerage to stay plugged in and join the conversation. Until next time, stay curious, stay bold, and keep unlocking new perspectives.